As the school buzzed with excitement, it was clear that the annual school play was just around the corner. This year, they were staging The Taming of the Shrew, but with a modern twist. The classic Shakespearean tale had been rewritten as an LGBTQ+ story, giving it a fresh perspective that resonated with many students. Ren had landed the role of Katharina, a character he had always admired for her strong will and fiery personality. He practiced diligently, pouring himself into the character, but as the rehearsal schedule grew tighter, the cast found themselves in a predicament. They were short a Petruchio, the male lead, and the director was in a panic. "Who can we get? We need someone who can match Ren's energy," the director lamented during a break. Ren's mind drifted to Tristan, who was notorious for being loud and unapologetically himself. The thought made Ren hesitate, but the playful side of him pushed forward. With a mix of determination and dread, he approached Tristan in the hallway, who was leaning against a locker, casually chatting with a group of friends. "Hey, Tristan," Ren called out, his heart racing. "I need to ask you something." Tristan turned, his playful demeanor instantly shifting to curiosity. "What's up, Takahashi?" "We're short a Petruchio for the play, and I think you'd be perfect for it," Ren said, trying to sound casual even as his cheeks flushed. "It could be fun." Tristan raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed. "Nah, that's not really my thing. I don't do theater." Ren bit his lip, feeling disappointment wash over him. Then an idea struck. "But remember our bet? This is your first dare. You can't back out now." Tristan smirked, the challenge sparking a hint of interest in his eyes. "You think you can make me do something just because of a bet?" "I don't think you'll back down from a dare," Ren shot back, a spark of confidence surprising him. "Besides, I think it would be good for you." Tristan considered this for a moment, then sighed dramatically. "Fine, I'll do it, but don't expect me to take it seriously." Ren felt a rush of excitement at Tristan's agreement. "You'll be great. Just follow my lead." The school had cast Ren as Caden Minola, based on Caterina, the shrew, and Tristan as Pietro Marchetti, based on Petruchio, who seeks to tame her. In their first rehearsal, Tristan stumbles through his lines, awkwardly trying to match up with Ren's dialogue delivery. Tristan can't help but be in awe with how comfortable was with all this. "Come, come, you wasp. I faith you are too angry," Tristan said, delivering a line from the act they were practicing. "If I be waspish, best beware my sting," Ren replied without looking at the script in his hand. Ren's delivery was perfect. It was like he was whole another person. The shy, awkward nerd was gone as Ren dived into his character. Tristan was looking at Ren with awe and admiration in his eyes. Ren, feeling awkward, cleared his throat and nudged at Tristan to read his line. "Who knows not where a wasp doth wear his sting? In his tail." Tristan continued, "In his tongue." Ren replied. As they exchanged these lines, Tristan's voice grows firmer, almost matching Ren's intensity. Tristan's delivery was starting to sound like Pietro, like the tamer he was supposed to be. The week flew by in a flash, and it was the day of the performance. The audience was packed, and Tristan felt the nerves kicking in. "Nervous?" Ren asked, looking at Tristan fidgeting from wall to wall. "A little, maybe," Tristan replied. "Don't be. You'll do great out there," Ren said, cupping Tristan's cheeks in his hands. The play was going great. Audiences could be heard laughing at the comic, and applause could be heard. In the final act, Ren delivers a monologue which is the highlight of the play. When Tristan sees Ren doing the same gestures he does when he is tensed and nervous, Tristan comes to Ren's rescue. "Now, who is the nervous one?" Tristan said, chuckling. Tristan cuts Ren off when he starts to say something. "You're amazing, and you'll be out there too. So smile, and it's time for you to shine," Tristan said, smiling. Ren walked onto the stage to deliver his monologue as Pietro calls out to him for the final scene where Pietro and others test out their partners. "Fie, fie, unravel that harsh gaze, and let go of the walls you've built, my dear. There's no need for anger or prideful scorn, for in our love we hold each other near." When hearts are fierce and minds are wild, we may forget the strength and tenderness. But look at us, here, together, standing side by side. The world may challenge us, but we shall rise above the rest. You are my partner, my equal, my trusted friend. I choose to walk with you through fire and rain, for love is not a war that we must fight, but a journey we take together without shame. My love, my heart, do not fear my will. Though I may bend at times, we both are free. I serve not out of duty, but choice. In our hands lies the power to be. We've weathered storms both harsh and cold, and through it all our bond remains bold. You are my keeper, my anchor, my home. But just as you hold me, I'll never be alone. So let us honor what we've built with care, a love that lifts us, equal and fair. No longer shackled by what the world demands, we stand united, holding love in our hands. After Ren's monologue, it was time for Tristan to deliver his last dialogue. Why, there's a wench. Come on and kiss me, Caden. Tristan, as Pietro says, declaring his victory in taming the shrew, or rather finding an understanding between him and Caden as a partner for life. Instead of Caden bowing down on Pietro's feet as a sign of submission in the original play, they ends with a warm embrace. The play went off without a hitch, and Tristan, in particular, amazed everyone with his unexpected talent. His portrayal of Petruchio was equal parts charming and hilarious, transforming the character into a witty, playful counterpart to Ren's Katharina. The audience erupted in laughter and applause at their banter, captivated by their dynamic. And on stage, Ren and Tristan exchange a knowing look. In that moment, they both realize they've seen something real within each other. After the play backstage, Tristan pulls Ren aside, his eyes shining with pride and something deeper. I've never seen you like that. Who knew you had so much fire in you? Tristan said. Maybe it took someone as annoying as you to bring it out. Ren said in a teasing manner, and look at you. Who knew you had in you to be so amazing out there? Ren added, nudging at Tristan in a playful manner. They laugh, but the tension lingers. The play has brought them closer than ever, showing them sides of each other they never expected. Tristan spotted his parents in the crowd, his heart racing. He led Ren over to them, nervous but excited to introduce his co-star. Mom, Dad, this is Ren. Tristan's parents greeted Ren warmly, their expressions full of admiration. We loved the play. You were fantastic, Ren, his mother said, her eyes sparkling. Thank you for being such a good influence on our son, she added teasingly. Tristan rolled his eyes but couldn't hide his smile. Yeah, don't embarrass me, he muttered, his cheeks flushed with both pride and embarrassment. Ren felt a wave of warmth wash over him. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you enjoyed it. As the night wound down, Ren couldn't shake the feeling of happiness that enveloped him. For the first time, he saw a different side of Tristan, a side that was vibrant and alive in the spotlight. Maybe there was more to the bad boy than met the eye, and with each performance, Ren felt the lines between them blurring in a way he had never expected. The following week, after the successful performance of The Taming of the Shrew, Ren found himself reflecting on the whirlwind of emotions that had surfaced during the rehearsals and the play itself. Each day, he felt a new warmth growing inside him, an undeniable spark ignited by the time he spent with Tristan. The laughter, the playful banter, and the moments of vulnerability they shared during practice had deepened their bond, pulling Ren out of his shell. As Ren walked through the hallways of Crestwood High, he couldn't help but replay the highlights of their time together in his mind. The way Tristan had effortlessly slipped into the role of Petruchio, showing a side of himself that few had ever seen, made Ren see him in a new light. There was something exhilarating about their connection that left Ren both thrilled and terrified. On Thursday, as they lingered by the lockers after school, Tristan casually mentioned, "Hey, you should come to the football match tomorrow night. I could use a fan in the stands." The excitement in his voice was infectious, and Ren felt a flutter in his stomach at the thought of supporting Tristan. "Yeah, sure, I'd love to," Ren replied, a smile spreading across his face. Just as they were basking in the lightness of their conversation, Tristan's phone buzzed insistently in his pocket. He pulled it out, and Ren's heart sank as he saw Amelia's name flash on the screen. "Hold on a sec," Tristan said, lifting his phone to answer the call. Ren felt a knot form in his stomach, remembering the way Amelia had approached him at the party. Her warning echoed in his mind, "You are just another passing fling. At the end, he will come back to me." The words stung more than he cared to admit, and the tension in the air shifted. "Hey, what's up?" Tristan said into the phone, his tone casual but with a hint of something more serious. Ren stood there, feeling increasingly uncomfortable, the buoyancy of their earlier conversation deflating with each passing second. He could only catch snippets of Tristan's side of the conversation. "Yeah, I'll be there, and, of course, I'll help you." As Ren stood there, the warmth that had ignited within him felt like it was being doused with cold water. When Tristan finally hung up, he turned to Ren with a grin. "Sorry about that. Amelia needs me for something. See you this Friday." He seemed unfazed, but Ren's heart felt heavy. Yeah, see you?" Ren replied, his voice barely above a whisper. He forced a smile, but inside he felt as if something had shattered. The fleeting joy of their connection was suddenly overshadowed by an overwhelming sense of loss. The thought that Amelia could easily sweep in and reclaim her place in Tristan's life gnawed at him. As Tristan walked away, Ren leaned against the lockers, feeling a wave of emotion crash over him. Doubts flooded his mind. What if he was just another fling? What if all the moments they shared meant nothing in the grand scheme of things? He clenched his fists, trying to fight back the tide of frustration and jealousy rising within him. The locker door felt cool against his back, but the warmth he once felt around Tristan was now replaced by a chill of uncertainty. How had he let himself get this close, only to feel so far away? With a heavy heart, Ren turned to leave, unsure of what tomorrow would bring, but certain that something had shifted in their relationship, perhaps irreparably. The Friday night football game arrived, and Ren rushed to the bleachers, his heart racing with anticipation and lingering anxiety. He had been looking forward to this all week, but arriving late meant he had to settle for a spot at the back. From this distance, he could only make out the flashes of movement on the field, the cheers of the crowd, and the way the stadium lights lit up Tristan's face as he played. As the game progressed, Ren's gaze drifted to the field, searching for Tristan amidst the chaos. When halftime arrived, he noticed Tristan scanning the stands, looking for someone. Their eyes met, and the corners of Tristan's lips curled into a bright smile. He waved enthusiastically, causing a few heads in front of Ren to turn and stare, their whispers barely audible over the noise of the crowd. Feeling a rush of warmth at the attention, Ren waved back, unable to suppress a smile of his own. The football game turned out to be thrilling. Tristan's team played brilliantly, and they emerged victorious, the excitement palpable in the air. Ren watched as Tristan celebrated with his teammates, pride radiating from him in waves. It made Ren's heart swell to see him so happy. After the game, Tristan insisted on walking Ren home. Ren hesitated at first, but the idea of spending more time with him was too tempting to resist. They started off under the cool evening sky, but halfway through, dark clouds rolled in, and rain began to pour. "Looks like we're going to get soaked," Tristan said, laughing as the raindrops began to fall harder. "Let's head to your place then," Ren suggested, relief flooding through him at the thought of escaping the downpour. When they arrived at Tristan's house, they were greeted warmly by his parents. "You boys look like drowned rats," Tristan's mom exclaimed, ushering them inside. "Why don't you freshen up and stay for dinner? We'll get some towels." "Thanks, Mrs. Hunter," Ren said, feeling slightly embarrassed but grateful. Tristan led Ren up to his room, and they both shed their wet clothes, laughing as they did so. Tristan tossed Ren a clean t-shirt and a pair of tracks. "Here, put these on," he said, grinning. Ren hesitated for a moment. Could you turn around while I change?" Tristan raised an eyebrow, a mischievous glint in his eye. "Come on, Change in front of me. It's just a shirt. Besides, I dare you, he teased, crossing his arms and leaning against the wall. Ren's heart raced at the challenge, the mix of embarrassment and thrill making his cheeks heat up. After a moment of deliberation, he relented. Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you. As Ren pulled off his shirt, he could feel Tristan's eyes on him, the weight of his gaze sending shivers down his spine. When he caught Tristan's intense stare, his face flushed red. What? Ren asked shyly, trying to sound nonchalant. Tristan stepped closer, an expression of longing in his eyes. Can I? He asked, his hands outstretched as he gently held Ren's slim waist. It was an innocent gesture, but it sent a bolt of electricity through Ren. He could feel the heat radiating from Tristan's body. Ren's breath hitched, and he barely managed to respond. What are you... Takahashi? What are you doing to me? Tristan muttered, resting his head on Ren's shoulder. The whisper was barely audible, but it hung in the air like a secret, charged with unspoken emotions. Ren was completely flushed, his heart pounding in his chest. He could feel the warmth of Tristan's breath against his skin, and it was intoxicating. Just as he was about to gather the courage to respond, there was a knock on the door. "Boys, dinner is getting cold," Tristan's mom called from the other side, pulling them both back to reality. Ren jolted back, quickly putting space between them and clearing his throat. Right, dinner," he exclaimed, trying to shake off the warmth that lingered in the air. Tristan smirked, attempting to lighten the atmosphere. "You should eat more. With that waist you may break any time." He joked, trying to mask the tension that had built between them. Ren rolled his eyes, though he couldn't suppress a smile. "Thanks, I think," he replied, grateful for the light-hearted banter to ease the moment. Yet, deep down, the encounter left him buzzing with uncertainty and excitement, the line between friendship and something more beginning to blur.